Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare, sometimes self-care, and today I'm talking about the 10 skincare tips I wish I knew sooner. You know, I always say that skincare is a journey. There's just so much to learn and there's so many steps to take and to progress further along that path, learning about products, learning about your skin, and really tapping into your skin tuition. Today I want to share with you those 10 things that I did learn on my journey. Some of them frustratingly, took a long time for me to really take on and really use that information. And I want to share them with you because hopefully, maybe this can help you along your path. If you're so ready, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. So the first tip I wish I had learned earlier was to not be so strict in my mindset around cleansing. You know, at the very beginning of my skincare journey, I got into double cleansing, using an oil cleanser to remove my makeup first and then following up with a foaming cleanser to kind of finish off that cleanse. That process, that method actually transformed my skin because I was not thoroughly and properly removing all of my makeup at the end of the day. Just my foaming cleanser just couldn't, really get in there enough. I wish I had learned, at that point in time that I don't need to be so strict about the actual method or the products that I'm using, but really just be more thorough with my cleanse, knowing that I don't have to use 2 products to cleanse my face if I'm not wearing really thick, resistant sunscreen or really full face of makeup. I can get away with other cleansing products. But really the lesson I needed to learn at the beginning of my journey that took me a little bit longer was not the products necessarily that I was using, but really the methods and really tuning into how thoroughly I'm cleaning my skin and how mindfully I'm tuning into that process, because most of the time it's just like you're not taking your time cleansing your face. You're not being thorough enough. And that can sometimes come down to the effectiveness of the products that you're using, but sometimes it just comes down to being present and actually really being thorough. The second tip I wish I had learned was don't let all your skincare absorb and dry down onto your skin before you move on to the next layer. This is a tricky one for a lot of us beginners, right? Because you're like, I want everything to absorb deep down into my skin. I don't want to dilute anything. I don't want to mess around with anything. So if I'm going to do multiple layers, I definitely have to just make sure that everything dries before I go on to my next layer. That's the rub, because if you let everything dry down onto your face, there is a really good chance that things are going to start to feel a little thick, feel like the other layers aren't absorbing, feel like things are sitting on top of your skin. I have to say, oftentimes when I'm filming skincare routines for YouTube, I'm talking a lot as I'm applying layers. And sometimes I'm talking so much that the layers do actually fully dry and absorb into my skin before I move on with the next one. And then skincare routines that I know, off camera have worked for me time and time again feel different on my skin because I waited too long in between the layers. I let it dry down for way too long. So it actually took me a while to learn, you should let your skincare kind of absorb and dry into your skin only about 50%, maybe a little bit more, but really make sure that you're applying everything on semi-damp skin. We hear this advice a lot, but it just doesn't always click. Definitely make sure that everything's not 100% dry as you're doing everything up until your moisturizer. That's the layer you definitely want to let really settle into your skin before you move on with that very important sunscreen step. And of course, if you're going in with makeup and things like that too, you want those layers to dry and settle. But everything in between, everything that's really watery and fluidy and all of that, definitely keep applying and layering when things are a little bit more moist, because your skin actually accepts that a lot better than if every single layer is bone dry. It's going to feel really thick, really sticky, and kind of uncomfortable on your skin. The number 3 tip is hydration is key. And I really wish I had learned not just that hydration is important. I don't think it took me too long to learn that, but I wish I had more deeply understood how fundamental hydration was to the entire skincare skincare philosophy and how it was actually really fundamental to a lot of the goals that I had with my skin. You know, I'm obsessed with like hydrating toners, layering lots of those watery layers, as I was saying, lots of layers, right? Lots of those really watery, hydrating, plumping types of layers onto my skin, you know, underneath the emollients and stuff. You know, I'm obsessed with that because I do suffer with chronic dehydration, and that really helps to ease a lot of the symptoms. I'm not even talking about it from that standpoint, but I'm actually talking about the standpoint that like really hydrated skin gives off the most amazing effect for your skin looking very firm, very smooth, very bouncy and plump, a little bit glass skin like. You know, I often get compliments on my skin like in real life, like people who don't know like this is what I do, like it's a secret. Shh, I'm on YouTube and I talk about skincare. Not everybody I encounter knows that about me, but sometimes I will actually get complimented on my skin, like how your skin looks amazing, like how does your skin look so good? And of course there's lots of things that I do. Obviously I spend a lot of time on skincare, but I really do chalk a lot of it up to hydrating my skin very thoroughly and very obsessively hydrating my skin. Yes, of course you can work on your acne and your brightening goals and all of that, but there's just kind of like a glow and an aura, you know what I mean, about like really hydrated, dewy, healthy, firm, plump skin that people really respond to. It really does read as healthy, radiant, glowy, youthful skin. And I wish I had learned this concept a lot sooner instead of just, not really focusing in on hydration, but just kind of focusing in on layers or focusing in on actives, and really understanding that like hydration is so fundamental and so key to your skin glowing with health. Tip number 4, moisturizer can make or break your skincare routine. I definitely was afraid of very like emollient types of moisturizers earlier in my skincare journey because, as I shared, before, in my younger days, I was very congestion prone, and I still am, but I've kind of figured out a lot about my skin through my journey, that's a little bit more of a back burner issue for me. But at the time, it was definitely more of a front burner issue. I was still trying to figure that out with my skin. And so in my mind, really heavy, emollient, rich moisturizers were going to contribute to that issue, clog my pores, and create more congestion and texture and bumpiness and all of that on my skin. And so I was always seeking out for those really lightweight gel cream types of moisturizers, things that had a lot of hydration to them, but not a lot of emollient or oil type of content to them. And let me tell you, using the wrong moisturizer for my skin and being so afraid of those types of ingredients and that type of moisture in my routine backfired on me so completely, to the point where my skin was burning. It was so irritated. It was so dehydrated and tight and red because the irritation definitely manifested in that red inflammation. So my skin was very uneven. It looked very unhealthy. It took away from the glow, right? Because not only was the moisturizer that I was using was very hyaluronic acid based, very gel cream based, really no occlusion whatsoever, not a lot of that true rich moisture, that it wasn't properly protecting my skin from dehydration. It wasn't properly balancing out my skin type. And so that final layer is actually so important to sealing everything in, to balancing out the skin, to protecting it, to sealing in all that important fundamental hydration that I've been talking about. So it's so important to figure that out. And this tip actually leads me into my number 5 tip, which is your skin is not static. It is constantly changing. Because that gel cream moisturizer that I was telling you about was actually a product that worked super well for me in the summer months. But I can put myself right back in time, right into my shoes in the moment in winter when I was working in an office environment and it was very, very cold. I live in the upper Midwest, so the winters are quite harsh. We had space heaters going that were really drying out the office air environment, and I can put myself back into my shoes. I can feel my skin right now. This is how bad it was and how much of an impression it made on me in my skincare journey. My skin was burning. It was itching, and I know it looked super, super red and inflamed. It didn't even click with me in my mind that like it could be that my skincare routine wasn't working for me, because these are products that I've been using for months that have been working for me really well. well, right? But I just had not really had that experience and that knowledge that your skin is always changing. Not only is it influenced by internal factors, right? It is also influenced by external factors. And you can't just put your skin into one little narrow box where you're ticking off like, yes, it's oily, yes, it's congestion prone, and that's it. Those are the only things I have to take into consideration when I'm building a routine or taking care of my skin. There's so much more that goes into it. And that's like the exciting but also really frustrating thing about it. The fact that seasons can affect your skin, especially if you do live in an area like I do where each, of the 4 seasons is quite distinct. And so there's always something new to deal with every 3 to 4 months, weather-wise, right? And how that affects my skin. But also environmental things. I learned this over the last couple of years with allergy symptoms. Allergens in the air do affect how my skin feels. But even things like pollution or smoke, the wildfire smoke coming down from Canada actually made my skin feel very different, and not in a good way. It really affected how my skin was feeling. Internal things like diet. If you have food sensitivities, that can actually manifest on your skin. Stress can definitely show up on our skin in a multitude of ways. The way that stress affects our whole entire body is pretty wicked, right? And it can manifest on the skin. Hormones. Hello, hormones. We know this, but I feel like we just don't always take it into consideration when it comes to dealing with skin issues. Your hormones 100% affect, your skin. There's so much sleep. There's so much. And of course, if you're dealing with immune issues as well, or any types of issues that are going on internally, don't discount the fact that it can affect how your skin is feeling, how it's reacting to products, right? There's a lot going on outside, inside. It's more than just what is my skin type, what are my skin conditions, what's going on around you, what's going on inside. Give yourself some grace as you're learning that, and forgive yourself for not knowing it in the past. Number 6, being consistent is way more important than trying all the things. Oof, this one comes down to FOMO for me, especially, being somebody who regards skincare definitely as a habit, right? That I do. It's like brushing my teeth. It's just something that I do, but I actually regard skincare more as a hobby or as an interest, something that I go a lot deeper with. And I think you're watching this video, so you probably do too, right? If you're in that skincare space, especially online, you get influenced. That's just the way it is, right? I get influenced. You get influenced by me. I get influenced by you. We get influenced by other people, our friends, comments, reviews, whatever, TikTok. There's always something new coming out. There's always something that is a miracle for other people. There's always the ingredient that you have to have in your skincare routine. And I got caught up in that. For sure. And that's how I wrecked my skin barrier. And I think I pushed a lot of my skin goals back a little bit because I was so, especially when I was really excited about trying new things I'd never tried before, AHAs, BHAs, vitamin C, retinols, all the things, right? I think that actually pushed a lot of my success with my goals back, not because I was wrecking my skin barrier or going too aggressive or anything like that. I'm actually talking a little bit more about just not giving these products or these ingredients enough time and space to actually show results on my skin. And that's where I'm bringing that back down to consistency. Trying all the things is super fun. Experimenting is super fun. Like I said, this is more than just a habit that I do every single day. It is a hobby. It is an interest of mine. And so I love experimenting. I love playing around with new things. It's also kind of what I do, right? For YouTube and for a job. But at the same time, if I want to meet my skincare goals, it's not about trying all the things out there. It's about really methodically picking out the products and the ingredients that target those specific goals, and then giving those products and those ingredients enough time to show results so that you can actually measure how something is working for you, and you can actually track your progress and be able to say it was because of this or it was because of that. You're not going to be able to do that if you're constantly switching things in and out all the time. Number 7, you don't have to spend more money to see better results. I wish I had learned this sooner. I've wasted so much money. I can vividly remember at the very beginning of my skincare journey, I was a broke college student, and I remember shelling out $40, which is a lot of money when that's like your entire budget for like groceries for like a week or more, right? When you're in college and a single person, $40 for an eye cream. And I thought at the time, like, well, it is more expensive, so it's going to give me better results. Like, I need to invest in the better skincare if I really want to see those results. And it was really painful to A, pay for it, but B, get to the bottom of that eye cream jar and realize it hadn't really done anything except moisturize my eye area. Time and time again, it's really been mirrored back to me that it's just not really worth spending outside of the price point that I'm comfortable at. And that's really what I'm trying to emphasize here is we all have different price points, and that will change throughout our lifetime, right? But our budget and where we're comfortable is a very personal thing. It's going to be different for everybody, but I just think it's so important to understand that you don't have to feel the pressure to reach outside of your comfort zone financially to achieve results with your skincare. If you have a luxury or prestige brand, that means you have a lot of brand recognition. You've been around for a long time. You have a reputation. You're just going to charge for that alone, right? For that prestige of owning Chanel, right? Or Yves Saint Laurent or whatever it is. There's a premium that you're paying just for the experience of owning that and having that experience with that particular brand. But I mean, on the more practical side of things, with a lot of these brands, you are actually paying for in-house formulation, patented, exclusive ingredient, complexes and things like that. Amore Pacific is actually a really great example, especially, I'm all about the K-beauty world. Amore Pacific and their, family of brands, they have in-house formulators. They're not sourcing out to other companies and getting kind of like a generic sort of formula that they put their personalization on. They're formulating everything and developing everything from scratch in-house. That's more expensive, right? Whereas indie Korean brands like, say, Purita, right, known for being very affordable and having some really great products, those types of brands don't have the money and funding for in-house formulation, so they outsource to cosmetic companies that do formulation for lots of different brands, right? And so I think that it's really important to understand that these are some differences in the industry, and it's not as easy and clear to say, well, for sure, in-house formulation is going to produce a product that gives you better results where outsourcing just produces garbage. It's not that clear, right? There's pros and cons to each way of formulating those products, and it's going to be a product by product basis. Here's what you need to know though, about picking out products in your price point and getting at least a better chance of success with really reaching your skincare goals. You really do need a little bit of know-how, right? You really do need to have some basic understanding about ingredients and what they do for certain skin concerns. What are the best ingredients to treat what you're trying to treat on your skin, right? The other thing is you need to be really clear about what you want to achieve. I can't tell you how many times I get asked almost on a daily basis, what's the best serum? ? Well, I don't know. Like, it depends. I have no idea what you're looking for. I don't know what the best serum is. I don't know that there's one single best serum or toner or cleanser or moisturizer, right? You have to get really specific about what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to treat. So you really need to understand your skin type. You need to understand your skin condition first and foremost, right? Like I said earlier, kind of checking some boxes, but also knowing, what do you want to achieve? What's the best serum for acne-prone skin that wants to brighten hyperpigmentation is a question I can answer, that I can give you some guidance on, right? But just what's the best X is never going to help you out. You have to get clear about what you want to achieve on your skin. And finally, you just need some time, space, and experience. And this is the frustrating part of it all, right? It's just sometimes you just need a little bit more experience with experimenting with skincare to learn, right? Sometimes you just need a little bit more time to understand your skin. Sometimes you just need a little bit more space to see if something's actually working for you. Those things are so much more important than the actual price tag of a product. I have wasted a lot of money learning this lesson, so hopefully I can save you some by helping you with this information. Number 8, Your mileage may vary. Yes, go to classic. I have to say, this is something that I learned back in the blog days in the early 20-teens. YMMV is something you would see in a lot of the comments posted within blogs, but also in the blog post itself, right? Definitely people reviewing skincare will always say, your mileage may vary. My experience, like what works for me, may not work for you. Your mileage may vary. And so this is, like I said, this is something that I encountered early in my skincare journey, and it is something I did not take on. I loved the blogs, man. They were so good and so thorough. And I had a few of my favorite writers, and I love them so much just because of like their vibes, right? Like not just because they're writing good reviews or anything, but just like their vibes and like what they were achieving with their products and with their skincare journey. And I just wanted to emulate them. Like I just wanted like whatever was happening for them, like I wanted it to happen for me too with my skin. And so I figured, well, this is a playbook, right? Like these are the products they love. These are the products that they're currently using. This is their current lineup. I'm going to get that cleanser, get that toner, get that moisturizer. I'm going to do exactly their skincare routine. Speaking of wasting money, right? Speaking of being frustrated and disappointed, it took me a really long time to, I always knew YMMV, but like, did I ever like really bring YMMV into my heart? It took me a long time to really, and I honestly think being on the other side of that now, as somebody who does create content around skincare, I really try to make that very clear. And I know, again, is it in your heart? Not everybody has taken that on yet, but I try to make that very clear that like, I can't guarantee what has worked for me will work for you. I'll try to give you the most information possible, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to you and being, like I was saying earlier, clear with what your skin is like, knowing your skin and tapping into your skin intuition, but also just being clear with your goals. If I say this is the best serum for well aging, but you're trying to address acne, just because it's the best serum for well aging, if you're not really tacking on that, you know what I mean, that clarity around your goal, you may be unhappy with what I said was the best for my specific skin goal because it doesn't align with your skin goal. Number 9, the health of your skin is more important than the look of your skin. It took me all the way until number 9 to talk about the skin barrier. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that this is something that I am obsessed about, right? And I'm constantly talking about the barrier health, barrier education, damaged barriers, healthy barriers, strong barriers, barrier supportive ingredients. The reason why I am so passionate about barrier health is because I learned firsthand that when the root of the health of your skin, which is your skin barrier or your skin moisture barrier, when that is in an unhealthy state, your skin is not going to look good. The end. Sorry about it. None of the other things you want to achieve on your skin are going to happen if the underlying health of your skin is not being taken care of. So if you know that your barrier is like not in a good spot, if it's feeling weak, if it's deficient, what have you, damaged, but you're still trying to treat your acne and your dull skin and your enlarged pores and your overproduction of oil and your fine lines and wrinkles, let me just save you the stress and the time. None of that's going to go away. None of that's going to be resolved. None of that is going to be fixed. You're not going to see any results. Your skin's going to look like crap, right? I'm sorry. Like it just, let's be real. Your skin is going to look like crap until you start fixing the internal health of your skin. Then all the other stuff will fall into place and you will start to be able to work on those goals and start to see results with your skin, and you'll be happier with the way that your skin looks in the mirror. But sometimes we have to let go of what we're seeing first and foremost for the benefit of the underlying health of our skin. And number 10, skincare isn't just about what we put on top of our skin. Skincare, right? Skincare is a holistic practice that actually really encompasses our lifestyle. And I do see, and I've done this. This is what I'm saying. Like, I wish I'd learned this sooner. I do see a mindset where we only focus on products. What did we put on our skin. And it is literally the only thing we think about when we're trying to solve issues with our skin. Maybe, yeah, and I think acne, congestion, breakouts are really like one of those bigger things where I'm like, I am breaking out and I am doing all of these things that should in theory be working, all of these products, and they're not working for me. And it's like, but did you consider hormones? Like, but did you consider diet? But like, did you consider stress and sleep? Like, it's so freaking annoying. Because sometimes like people will say like, oh, just go drink a glass of water. And that frustrates me too. But it is quite important to really regard skin care as holistic care. Skin is your body's largest organ. It's not just about what we're putting on top of our skin and conditioning it and making it glowy and hydrated and plump and all and bright and all of that. Sometimes what's going, as I mentioned earlier, what's going on internally will manifest on the outside. There's so much that you can learn about skincare. It's really wild, right? So I am curious to know, what are some tips or lessons you wish you had learned earlier? Let us all know in the comments, because my goal of sharing this video is to help you, but like you sharing in our community helps everybody as well. So let's spread the knowledge and share the love. If you enjoyed this video and maybe you haven't hit subscribe, maybe it's your first time to my channel, maybe you've seen me a couple of times. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please, I'd be so honored if you'd come join our very helpful, supportive community. Turn on notifications so you're never out of the loop. I am very active here on YouTube every single week. I hope that you are healthy, happy, and safe wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.